SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Does that tree have you worried? Want to get it cut down before the next storm? You need to call Max Tree Service and Land Management for your free estimate. Don't wait till it's too late. Call us today at 601-695-1717 or check us out on Facebook. Max Tree Service.
Your teams, your town, your source, that's Y'all Sports. I'm Cliff Furr, the Y'all and Y'all Sports, joined as always by my friend and good co-host Brandon Shamatara and our buddy Randy behind the board, and this is Y'all Sports Radio. We come to you every week from the SuperTalk 102.1 FM studios in downtown Brookhaven. Last week we had Coach Cat Wilson, the Lloyd Star volleyball coach on. Brandon, did you get a chance to go back and listen to the podcast? Because, boy, that was a great episode.
I got a chance to put on my T-shirt she brought to us, and I tell you what, it is dry fit, sweat wicking, and what a great T-shirt that was for Lloyd Star Volleyball. Hey, Cat Wilson did a great job, and the girls over there at Lloyd Star are very fortunate to have her as their head volleyball coach.
24 years old. You can tell she's serious about being a coach, the way she carries herself, the way she set her program up. Won a first-round playoff match last year in the first season of existence. And you're right, Brandon, sweat wicking technology is very important right now. It is currently 100 and something degrees outside. And it's great that we have volleyball because it's a gym sport. And on Saturday, the Brookhaven High Lady Panthers hosted a volleyball jamboree, and our Katie Furr Mobley was there. She was taking pictures. She got photos of North Pike, Franklin County, Brookhaven High, Lloyd Star. I feel like I'm missing maybe one out of there. She didn't get Bogachita. She'll get to you guys soon because regular season volleyball will be starting up very, very soon. Hey, if you want to see those pictures, look for us on Facebook, Y'all Sports. Brandon, we're like 300 away from 20,000 followers.
Wow.
So am I shamelessly plugging? Yes, I am, because Saturday marks the 1-year anniversary of Y'all Sports. And if you don't know what Y'all Sports is, well, it's a website, but it's a Facebook page. It's a brand. It's a lifestyle for guys like Brandon and I. Y'all Sports is focused on sports in Southwest Mississippi, sharing the good news. Been doing that for a year now, and on Facebook alone, we've gotten 36 million clicks, and it helps when you have a lot of good things to talk about, such as Brookhaven High winning a state championship in football, and Brookhaven Academy winning a state championship in softball, and Park Lane winning a championship in football. Those things help, but couldn't do it with our listeners, couldn't do it with our supporters.
Yeah, man, no doubt. And let's go ahead and you mentioned her, but Katie Mobley, wonderful photographer.
Not just my sister, my best friend.
That's right, and just a joy to be around. I saw you guys pictures from your vacation, and I told Cliff this last week or so. I said, man, and if you don't know Katie, her husband's name's Matt. Great guy, fun, joy to be around. I saw their pictures of all Prentice Smith and some others on the trip. I said, man, I would have loved to have been on that vacation with you guys. But listen, hey, great opportunity right now to give Katie a shout out. And you got some other photographers out there that do a little freelancing for you, maybe.
I do. I've got a lot of folks. I've almost feel like every school district, I've got folks. Jeremy will be in earlier. Jeremy Loy will be in later. We're going to talk Wesson football today on the show. I couldn't do anything in Wesson if it wasn't for my girl Lisa Earls up there, who's a friend of mine from a long time ago. Hannah Hudson is a great help to me out at Brookhaven Academy. And folks have asked me. I mean, I spoke to the Lions Club today in Brookhaven, Brandon. I got little papas for lunch. And I knew that I was doing the show later today, so I didn't go heavy.
Yeah,
I didn't go heavy.
I was going to ask you, did you take a nap between eating lunch and the show?
It might have been the smallest papa's plate I've ever fixed, okay? And you know, when I'm paying for it myself, Brandon, I'm like, hey, we got to load this bad boy up. But
You were a guest, so the Lions Club took care of you.
That's right. And I brought my buddy and my junior correspondent, Graham Furr, that's my son, brought him with me, and he did not eat light. He packed it on. He's finishing up his last few days of summer vacation and getting ready to start high school. So yeah, it's just, man, it's been so much fun, and that's one thing we try to bring to y'all sports radio is to convey the fun that we're having, and it's a really, really fun time of year, and we're getting ready to get things cranked up. We've gone throughout the summer, and we're getting ready to talk football. We've been talking football. We've been talking volleyball. We've got Brookhaven Academy softball starting on Friday. They've got a home game on the 31st. They're going to be hosting Wayne Academy, and it's the most wonderful time of the year. It really, really is, and it gets. I've been going out and I've been calling on schools and visiting schools. Man. I've been on the trail,
watching
man.
Morning workouts.
Oh man, I did. I went over to Franklin County one day and I stopped over by Granny's Corner in McCall Creek. Brandon, have you ever had Granny's Corner?
I have not. Tell me about it.
It is a little country store located right beside Bogachita Road. And you can, if you're ever looking for it, an easy way to go is just to go out to West Lincoln, go down Jackson Liberty, whatever it turns into there, and just take a right on the Bogachita Road and go on out. And you're going to say, have I gone far enough? Have I gone not too far? Just keep driving. And look, this is no joke, Brandon. One day I did Summit, so I went to Summit, and then I went out Highway 44. Where North Pikes Middle School is. They've built a new football field out there, and I wanted to check it out. That is out in the middle of nowhere. And I was going out there, and my son was part of Love and Lincoln, and he was at the Baptist Children's Village out at Fair River. So I was going to go from Summit to Fair River, and it took me down. It was like you pass this sign, it says Calvary this way, Wellman that way, Topsaw that way. There are all the church signs all through that part of the county. But man, Brent, I was driving in Pike County, and I look up, and it made me do a little quick detour. Somebody there, it's like a ranch. It looks like they got horses, and there's a barn. There was a house built up on a hill. There's no other way to describe it. It was a ski chalet. Somebody built a Swiss. Randy's nodding his head. He knows where I'm talking about. It's just a big Swiss ski chalet up on the side of a hill in Pike County.
Wow!
And that's why we love riding the back roads, man. Because you see stuff and you're like, man, somebody built a whopper of a house out here where it takes you 45 minutes to get to Walmart.
Yeah, they don't like neighbors, is what I'm hearing. Now the Swiss chalet, what? There's something behind this. Where are they from? I'd love to know. Maybe I'll get on Landglide later and see who owns it. It's probably owned by an LLC or something.
Yeah.
Can't find them on Facebook and stalk them.
It was great. And I rode a lot of back roads last week, and have seen a lot of schools. And my buddy Coach Ron Rushing down at Park Lane, he needs me to come down there soon. The MAI schools are getting geared up. They're going to start things up a little bit earlier, so they're getting close to transitioning to pads. And we're going to hear from Jeremy Loy at Wesson later. They're also, all those schools are getting geared up, and they'll have jamborees on the 21st. So they're getting soon into their cycle of, hey, you're going out and you're wearing your shells and your shorts, and then you're putting your shoulder pads on eventually. And you got to watch out for that wet bulb, Brandon.
Man, the wet bulb, go back and listen to the last episode or before, and you'll learn what the wet bulb is. But I love this time of year because, all the hard work that had started in the spring after last season, when your juniors now become seniors, and then they finish the school year, see the seniors off, and then all the hard work that goes into the summer. And if you've never been a part of a football program or never been out to see workouts and anything like that, just understand this. There is so much hard work that goes in. And the young men, I don't care what classification of school you're in, like Cliff was telling us a week or two ago, went out to West Lincoln, and shout out to Coach Smithhart. Saw him in 601 Sports the other day. Had a good conversation with him. But anyway, said I had about 12 or 14 guys, maybe 15.
Yeah, about 15 guys.
And, no matter how big your classification you are, hard work is relative when it comes to that, because those kids are working so hard. It's hot. You spend time in the weight room, and then you go outside and you get on the football field or practice field, wherever you do your conditioning, and you put in the work. And I mean, so the excitement builds around this. Look, now we're in that transition phase where, hey, I've gotten bigger, I've gotten stronger, maybe a little quicker, a little faster. But guess what? Now we get time to buckle them up here soon, and you start putting those shoulder pads on. And now if it's 100 outside, it's 115, and you put the helmet on, and there goes all the air that goes to your head, which cools your body. I'm getting emotional now. I love this.
Chill bumps.
Look, and then you snap those helmets on, click right side, click left side, and now it's a different ball game. Right. Everything that you did, you could be Tarzan in that weight room, but when you put those shoulder pads and helmets on, hey, brother, it's time to buckle up, and we're going to separate the men from the boys. Now's the chance you get to earn that starting position. And maybe there's a senior that left last year, and you were backing him up, and now it's your opportunity to step up, become the man, and when those lights come on Friday night, oh, man, what a feeling it is.
Now, man, hey, you cook right there. You cook, and you got me fired up. I'm about to jump through this plate glass window right here, just ready to go do Oklahoma drill with somebody. You're exactly right. It is such an awesome time of the year, and that's kind of you kept saying that word work, and I put a video out yesterday on Y'all Sports. You can find it on our Facebook. I'm going to re-release it. I'm going to do some formatting changes. It was one of those deals where it looked a certain way on my computer screen, and then when I published it, it looked a little bit different on my phone. But it's a little series where I've taken every workout I've gone to. I've been filming content. I've been talking to coaches. I've been talking to players, and it's called The Work. Just called it The Work, presented by Y'all Sports, and it's just about this time of year that we've just been experiencing, and how we say it all the time, you can't cheat the game. If you're not putting in the work, folks will know when August 28th comes around. You can't just roll out in mid-August and say we're gonna play ball and we're gonna be better than the guys across the line.
You don't get off the couch eating Cheetos and try to go out there and then perform in whatever 2 a day, or if you have 2 a days or not in practice. No, it takes time and effort and the work put in on the front end to now whenever you put those helmets and shoulder pads on to get out there and show your stuff.
And one thing that I've really enjoyed is seeing old school conditioning at all the different schools. Everybody that's got a hill is making guys run up that hill. They got a heck of a hill at Bogachita. They got a heck of a hill. They got a famous hill at South Pike, and the folks at South Pike, I took a picture of the hill, and the folks at South Pike said, no, the thing is, when you're running reps on that hill, your rep starts all the way across the field, and you run across the field, the practice field, then up the hill, then down the hill, then back across the court. And it reminded me of the great Dale Watts, Brookhaven Academy, when he had you run bleachers. If he was really mad at you, he had you start on the opposite side of the court, up the bleachers, down the bleachers, back across, up the other bleachers, down the bleachers. That was one. And so I posted those. I posted a video of them running a hill running a little slight incline at Hazelhurst, Bogachita. And it's fun because, Y'all Sports, we're focused on 5 counties at Y'all Sports. We're focused on Copiah, Franklin, Lawrence, Lincoln, and Pike counties. We have followers on social media. We have followers all over that are not from those counties. And as soon as I posted the video of folks running up the Bogachita Hill, some people from East Marion were like, that hill ain't blank. Yeah. And they said, some of them said blank. That hill ain't blank. At East Marion, we got a hill that's like that, and it's made out of sand.
Yeah.
And it made me think of Jerry Rice. If you've gone back and watched, Jerry Rice was a big hill runner. Walter Payton.
I was just about to ask you. You're killing my next question. I was going to say, minus high school, take high school out of the equation. Whenever you think about someone running hills, who comes to mind?
Jerry Rice.
And for me, it's Walter Payton.
Yeah.
I just remember sitting in as a sophomore on my high school team, and we would be getting ready for just kind of, we ate pregame meal, and then now we're sitting in the film room watching a video or something. After our previous year highlights were over, we put in one of these old NFL tapes, and it would talk about various players. And we had one, I guess it had to be really old, because Walter Payton was on there, and it showed videos of him running up hills. And so we say this, hey, not much has changed. Whatever 40 years ago, I mean, it's still the equation's still the same. It's just the effort that you put in to make you who you're going to be on that hill. A lot of people have run these hills locally.
Yeah.
You know, but how well did you run them? How hard did you try when you were running those?
And the thing about the South Pike Hill that I loved when I posted it was there were people that were band members, and they were like, "Man, that hill almost made me quit band." And shout out to the band member. Yeah, you know your band's right when they're running hills. Shout out to the bands. I was at North Pike the other day, and the North Pike band they were doing laps around the parking lot to get warmed up because they have to have their cardio just as good as.
Hey, when they put on all that gear, that's a lot of stuff, and I don't think they spend a lot of money on sweat wicking material for the band members.
A lot of
and
wool.
Their hats, a lot of wool.
Yeah.
It's got to smell, and I hate to be thinking that way, but it's, because I know they sweat because they're out there in the heat. A lot of times you'll see them on practice fields getting ready for their performances, just like the football team is. So they're sweating. Hey, it's hot out there, and everybody's working hard. But when you talk about a band member running up a hill, I don't know about running up hills. If I'm a band member. Hey, I'm tapping out. I got asthma.
Play the wrong note and you do the hill. Look, we're killing a little bit of time. Jeremy Loy messaged me and says he's running a little bit late. We're gonna have head coach Jeremy Loy in here a little bit. He's a Wesson head football coach. He's our guest this week on Y'all Sports Radio. He has a culture. The trips that I've been making, going and checking out all the different schools, it's about the culture that's built there. And the Wesson Cobras have a real culture around their football program that I can't wait to talk with Jeremy about.
It's different there.
A little bit later on the show. Ain't no doubt.
Hey, so during the season, we caught glimpses of a little pregame speech. What are the chances that we could get Coach Loy to fire us up in here?
Hey.
Fire up our listeners. Get us ready for football season. Tell us some of that sweet stuff, Coach. Leave the language out because I know sometimes you get excited and the language just starts rolling. But, hey, if I give him $50, you think he'll fire us up with a pregame speech?
He'll do it. He'll do it for $5. But hey, that's the friendship and the trust that I have with Jeremy because I went last year, one of the early weeks of the season. I went to watch Wesson and North Pike, and he allowed me to record him talking to his guys before they went out. It gave me chill bumps then. It gives me chill bumps if I watch it. And the fun thing about it is that Jeremy, he trusted me enough to know that if he did say something that wasn't approved for Facebook, I took care of him, and that's a great trust that he puts in me. I'll tell you somebody else who trusts us, and that's our sponsors. We have some great sponsors on this show. We've got Bank of Brookhaven, Toyota of Brookhaven. We got Sam Ballard with Good Hope Land and Timber. We've got Brandon Shamatara, State Farm Insurance, located right here in downtown Brookhaven. You can always find Brandon right here on the corner by the SuperTalk studio. He is here to serve his customers and to anybody who's looking to become one of his customers. Come see Brandon in downtown Brookhaven. And then we also want to thank our friends at Juan Seed Store. They're more than a seed store. They're actually the Chamber of Commerce Business of the Month. Our friends at Juan Seed Store, they allow us to put this out in podcast form whenever the radio show is over. Can't thank our friends at Juan Seed Store enough.
Hey, speaking of Juan Seed Store, if you go on social media and you look up Juan Seed Store, and they're more than just a seed store, right? Business of the Month.
That's it.
By the Chamber of Commerce. And so
you were looking at your phone. I literally just said that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, good night. Yeah. Well, listen. Hey, so good we had to say it twice.
So good we had to say it twice. All right. Hey, speaking of so good, when we come back, we're going to have our buddy Jeremy Loy, head football coach at Wesson, in the studio next on Y'all Sports Radio. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to Juan Seed Store, your go-to spot for all your farming and agriculture needs right here in Brookhaven. Located at 636 Greenview Trail, we're much more than just a seed store. Need boots? We've got you covered with Durango, Rocky, Muddy, and Gator Wader brands. And if you're looking for style, rock and roll denim will keep you looking sharp while you work. We also carry durable key overalls and workwear. Shop with us Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Juan Seed Store, where we're so much more than just a seed store.
All right, y'all. We're back on Y'all Sports Radio, and for a second straight week, we've got a guest who came bearing gifts. Brandon, the word is out. The word is out how to win us over, man. Coach Jeremy Loy is in the building, and he brought us some Wesson gear. He brought a hat and a visor, and we drew straws. And since Brandon, his hair is a little bit shorter than mine, he went with a visor. I like a visor. Coach, you ever worn a visor out there coaching?
At night
only. At night
I'm
only.
just like y'all. We all got the same problem.
Yeah, we are.
We don't wear those at daytime.
Yeah.
You call it a problem. I call it how I became handsome.
But I would.
Yeah, me and you both.
I would think that you would like a visor though, Coach, because you're an offensive guy. And what about old Steve Spurrier? He wore a visor like nobody else. Is the old ball coach one of your guys you looked up to when you were growing up?
Oh yeah, we love the ball coach, man. We still play clips of him around our house. Will sent me one the other day.
Yeah, man.
You got Kiffin. You got Freeze as a visor guy, right?
Yeah, well, nobody. Okay, all right, back up, Brandon. Back up. This guy's a Mississippi State guy. We're gonna lose him before we ever get started. Look, Jeremy, you're from Natchez. Talk to me about the guys that were influences on you growing up. Was coaching something you always knew you wanted to do?
No, it wasn't. I did play ball all my life. It was my life, kind of like my kids are now. And that I stayed on a ball field. It was my love. It's what I did. Whatever season was, I was trying to play it. And I really didn't have many other interests than that. So the Lord, I think, knew that, and that's ended up how I was here. But Jack Benson was a big. He was a coach, my high school football coach, and he was big in my life. That's the toughest man I ever seen.
Really,
he was a Vietnam vet. He played center and linebacker at Mississippi State in the 50s. There's stories about him. He's a legend around Natchez and Starkville back in those days as a fighter.
He could clear one out.
Yeah,
he'd meet you on the levee real quick.
I mean, the man was 60 when he was coaching me, and he was doing one-arm push-ups while we were running.
Come on.
Yeah. I mean, the dude was just, we all were in awe of him. He was one of those type of guys, and his daughter actually was in our class. And so that was always fun. We're giving her a hard time. But anyway, we were a real close team, and he was a good coach and good influence on me.
And that was at Trinity, right?
That was at Trinity, yeah. And before that, I was at Leander High School in Texas before we moved back to Natchez.
That's right.
And I had a coach named Coach Brooks, and he was another one that I really looked up to. And anyway, when I got down the road to I was at Mississippi State, and I actually was a business major at Mississippi State.
Your family's in the grocery business. You're thinking maybe you're going to just jump in the grocery business.
I was kind of thinking that. Well, a good friend of mine who's now the head football coach at Newton County, Bobby Bass, and we were roommates.
Love Bobby Bass.
And anyway, we were really good friends, and he was in coaching. He was in physical education and going to coach, and we were still playing stuff, softball, and just competing in everything we could. In those days, we were about 20 years old, something like that, 21 years old maybe. And I just kind of went that way with him. And honestly, we've been in this business together now for 24 years. We're still best friends. We play golf in the coaches golf tournament now for the 24th year in a row.
Wow.
And it's kind of been a cool thing with us. So we got to coach 1 year together over here at Brookhaven.
That's right.
We only did 1 year together, but he's another one that's been a big influence on me in the profession.
Yeah, so before you came on, Brandon and I were talking about the tour that I've been doing, going out and seeing everybody and seeing them put in the work. And the other day I was at Franklin County, and I saw you there on the picture, the 2006 state championship team. Just what an amazing group of athletes. You were the offensive coordinator for that team, right?
I was. Yes, sir.
I have a lot of fun to call plays for Jamie Collins, right?
I look back at it now, and I was not a very good play caller. I'll just be real honest with you. If I knew what I know now and I was then with that bunch, there's no telling what we would have done. But they've made me look really good.
That's right.
I mean, and they loved me and they played their heart out for me. I wish I could have called them a little better plays, but it was all about them.
Well, we're going to get to the offensive progression, but look, it made it. It got a lot of love. There's a lot of shares, a lot of the former players talking about it. Then, of course, there are people from Hazelhurst saying Hazelhurst 2005 was better. I mean, I love all that smack talk that goes on. But, one thing that I did was I go to YouTube. You can still watch that Charleston State, or not Charleston, but Nettleton State Championship game you guys win. Look, you called some good plays because there's one play where Jamie Collins runs out and he acts like he's going to pitch it, and he fakes the pitch and he runs in and he scores a touchdown. I think kind of iced the game. And you didn't have to get super creative because you had a future NFL linebacker playing quarterback.
I did.
So you leave there and you go to Tupelo next?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was that just a desire to kind of move up in the coaching ranks, maybe coach a bigger school?
Well, yeah, I came in this thing with, I didn't have family members that were coaches.
Yep.
I got in it. Alonzo Stephen, he gave me my first job at Vicksburg.
Vicksburg High, right?
And really, I owe a lot to him because I had put in everywhere trying to get in.
Yeah.
And he gave me my first job.
Close to home, which was a great plus for you.
It was. And so then I moved from there to Franklin County. And, when you're trying to make your way up, you kind of go with what's going to, you think can help you get better as a coach. And our head coach left at Franklin County. They brought in another guy. He didn't really want me to do the same thing I was doing.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity to go to Tupelo and to coach in that league, and that was a big opportunity.
Who'd you work for?
Eric Collins.
Eric Collins.
Yep.
Eric Collins. Yep. So you work for Aaron Collins there, and then you're ready to get back closer to home. So the first move back home was Mendenhall, right?
Yep. Yeah, we had 3 small children. Wesley was born in Tupelo. We have 3 kids born in different towns. That's how you know we're a coach.
Buddy, you were a coach in lifer, brother.
That's right. And so anyway, Sarah's dad came down. He got cancer, and we were 6 hours away from Natchez.
Yeah.
And it just was the Lord opened the door at Mendenhall. I thought, well, this gets us closer to home. Just back, kind of where we're from or around. We had family in actually we have family in Simpson County.
That's
Sarah's
right.
dad's from Simpson County, so we moved back there. I was their offensive coordinator there and had some good teams there.
Oh yeah, we talked about some of those guys from Mendenhall were on a great Co-Lin team.
Yeah.
Different kids over there, Coach. You were telling me once if they showed up late for the field house, you guys had a board that you put on their behind.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can do that anymore, Brandon.
I know we miss those days too because those kids knew they towed the line. They were great kids, hardworking kids, but we could still swing the paddle back then.
Yeah, just good country kids.
Yeah.
And then that brings you to what we were talking about earlier. You and Bobby getting to coach here in Brookhaven. Did you get hired by Coach Clopton?
I did. Yep. Coach Clopton got the job. And I think he originally had hired Ron Russian, to be honest. He hired Ron.
Come on. Another Natchez guy.
Ron decided to back out, stay at Cathedral another year.
Yeah.
And when that happened, Tommy, we didn't really know each other, but he had got my name from somebody, and he called me in. We talked and interviewed, and it looked like it was a good fit. And honestly, I've been working just about for Tommy in some form or fashion ever since.
That's right.
Outside of a few years. So,
that's right.
It was a good fit, and me and him got along great, and it worked out.
Tommy leaves. He goes back to be the principal at Wesson, and then he calls. He needs a football coach. He needs to replace longtime coach Ronald Greer, and he calls you.
Well, actually, I went before Tommy came back.
That's right.
Tommy was principal over here. He stepped down. I left and went to Wesson. Ronald Greer hired me.
That's right.
And then Tommy was still here, and then later on, I think it was about 4 years later, Tommy came as the principal.
Hey, so is this year number 10?
11
at Wesson. And look, all right, so here's what I want you to do for me. If somebody doesn't know what Wesson football stands for, the program that you've built in the last decade, give our listeners an idea of what you want your Cobras to look like on a Friday night.
Well, we were talking about this last night at the parent meeting, and there was a lot of perseverance that went with this job. When I got the job, it was a struggle job, and it was a lot to be done. And
playing up 3A.
And Ronald knew it. He told me when I got the job, and he was right. So it was one of those put your head down, grind it out, and build a culture. And I think the culture that I feel confident that we are is we have tough kids, hardworking, gritty. They're going to give you 100. There's no doubt they're going to throw down on Friday night. And they don't blink an eye. They're not scared of anybody. And I believe we outwork everybody.
I agree, brother. I agree with that. Yeah. I think one of my favorite things is to go in your weight facility. There's not a wasted space. There's not a wasted rep. There's just guys working. There's guys pushing each other, like, come on, man, you know, like, go harder. Like, you hear that effort. And speaking to the toughness, speaking to the grit, I tell this all the time. You're the only guy that I've just told me, like, Coach, my Cliff, my best linebacker, got stepped on by a bull last weekend at high school rodeo. I don't know if I'm going to have him. You told me earlier this summer you had a couple guys out because they were selling a horse. They love horses and rodeo in Wesson, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, they're just good old country boys, and we got some good athletes over there. Some you know, sometimes we have some size, sometimes we don't. You know, high school football, you just kind of get the hand you're dealt, and you do the best you can, figure it out. And but what we do have, we've got a blue collar attitude, and they get after it.
And I'll tell you this, I've been fortunate enough to feed you guys a pregame meal for the last few years. I'll say this, on top of everything you just said, man, just the level of respect that your guys have and appreciation, man, their gratitude for me and my staff who come and serve them. They're just like, thank you so much for this. And so they're grateful, man. And that comes from the top. We talk about it all the time about, you know, building a program, what that looks like. Well, your head coach is the one who starts the building of the program, and everything else trickles down. And so you've done a great job of implementing those things and teaching them what gratitude means. So that's hats off to you.
Well, I appreciate it. They are a good bunch. They are a fun bunch to coach. You know, they're the kind that make you want to get up and come to work in the morning.
That's so important. Yeah. Well, look, I can remember back when you guys were still 3A and you were out there battling and golly, we talked to our buddy Trey Woodard, and we were talking about how when he was 1A, he was with Lumberton and Bay Springs and Taylorsville, and now Boca Chica and West Lincoln are 1A, and they're with Mississippi School of Deaf and Mount Olive. No offense to Mount Olive, but it's a little bit different. When you were 3A, you absolutely played in some of the toughest 3A. You had Raleigh, you had McGee at one point, you had Jefferson Davis County, and we would talk about how you
Columbia
had to
was in there.
Oh my gosh, you'd have
West Marion.
Yeah, you have to tell your kids, like, hey, whether we win or lose, we've got to fight, we've got to compete. And I can remember one time watching you play JDC. And it was the last regular season game. It was a real foggy night there in Wesson, and you lost, but you were close at halftime. Your kids fought, and you could feel like the program was going in the right direction. Yeah, isn't it so fun now to be able to do the things that you're doing offensively because of the foundation, the groundwork, and defensively too, don't get me wrong, but the groundwork that was laid by those earlier programs that just kind of built the program up?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that night we jumped out on Jeff Davis County.
That's right.
And Antrell Sims was our quarterback then, and he ran a couple big runs, and you know, we got we were very excited on the sideline. It's just, you know, we woke up a sleeping giant in the second half. But anyway, you know, that bunch early on, I can think of guys like L.J. Guess and Cade Lowry and some other guys.
Scott Hutt,
man, yeah. I mean, some just tough kids that really helped us turn that culture around, just bought in. You know, the years we were in, I called it the bloodbath of 3A. I mean, it was as rough as it gets.
Hey, this guy's seen Sunterry Perkins multiple times in one season.
Yeah, twice in a season, yeah. And but, you know, those guys fought their tails off, and we were in games and right there about to win, you know, and we turned the corner at some point. But, you know, it got you build it in stages, and it got to that stage where we were bumping on the door, we're competing, we're just dropping them late or whatever it is, and then it kind of goes over the top.
Yeah, and it's snowballed into some really fun seasons. And, man, look, Jeremy, if we're going to talk about Wesson football, we're going to talk about exciting football. There have been some games where – literally, when I was writing for the newspaper, I would say to the one that stands out to me is one that I got to see in person was was it a double overtime win against Tylertown, or was it just a single overtime win? You had guys cramping. You only had about 16 available guys. You're playing Tylertown.
That was Will's senior year.
Yeah, and you win the game on a 2-point conversion where the running back's going down, and he throws it to another running back, and you guys score. And Brandon, by this point, my deadline is 11 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock.
Oh, man,
I've just watched like a game that finished like 45-43, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, how am I going to write about this And I wrote a column that night. I didn't even write a game story. And I just wrote a column. I just basically said, hey, if you were at Wesson and Tylertown, you know what I'm talking about. This game was freaking awesome, dude. And you've got last year the Lloyd Star game.
Yeah.
I spoke
Bay
to
Springs. I don't know if you were at the Bay Springs game that year in the playoffs when we beat
Antrell
them.
ran all the kicks back.
Yeah, we beat them. Antrell had 6 touchdowns. We beat them 54-52. We stopped a 2-point conversion in overtime to win the game. I mean, it was wild.
Hey, is that why you're in such good shape? Is because of nights like that?
Yeah, stress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stress.
Yeah, you couldn't look like me and coach a team that has games like that. You'd wind up on the heart floor at KDMC in no time. Well, look, we'll catch Jeremy's workout routine when we get back. We're going to take one quick break, and then we'll be back with more with our buddy Coach Jeremy Lloyd on Y'all Sports Radio.
Looking for the perfect, unique gift? Visit Juan's Seed Store at 636 Greenview Trail in Brookhaven. Discover our stunning waxed amaryllis bulbs. Simply place and watch them grow. Soy lotion candles from Waveland Candle Company provide an eco-friendly clean burn and provide a moisturizing scented lotion when burning. Sippy Scents out of Pearl has created the most intense fragrances for detergents, cleaners, room sprays, and oils. Shop these selections and more today at Juan's Seed Store.
All right, man. Hey, that Guns N' Roses just feels right. All right, I just imagine Jerry Malloy riding around Natchez listening to Guns N' Roses.
Macy Loy loves some Guns N' Roses.
Well, hey,
just a little something you probably didn't know.
Hey, I can believe that. Look, you said her name. Tell me about. We'll run through the family real quick. Macy Loy, she's your mini me. Your wife Sarah has had to talk to her at ball games. If she hears somebody saying negative about her daddy's play calling, she's ready to roll, right?
Yeah, she'll throw down. She's got 2 brothers on each side of her. She understands.
Macy's going to be playing tennis at Colin coming up, and your son Will got to play quarterback for you. Man, I loved watching you. It's a special experience getting to coach your sons, isn't it, Coach?
It is. And Tommy told me this after coaching Trace. He said it's one of the greatest things you're ever going to do, and it's one of the hardest things you're going to ever do, and it is both. It is both.
Ryan Ross said it to me once. He said, "Boy, it can be tough." He said, "Because if that's one player, if you make your mama mad, you got to sleep in the same bed with her that night."
Absolutely, no doubt.
Yeah, and then Wesley's going to be a senior. He's a defensive back. He's a wide receiver. He returns kicks. He does just a little bit of everything. Yeah. I knew that he was going to be great when he was a ball boy. He was the most intense ball boy I'd ever seen. I almost saw him make multiple tackles whenever a defensive back slipped up. I think you're expecting big things out of Wesley his senior year, right?
Yeah, Wesley's he's a great athlete. I like, they always argue in my house who's the better athlete, yada, yada, yada. Wesley can do things with less reps than the rest of them. You just throw him out there and say, go. I guess that's the youngest thing. He had to do it with all the older kids, so he just jumps in and goes.
That's right.
He's got some has he grown a lot in the last year?
Last year, he weighed in at 170 this morning, and he's bumping right under 6 foot. So, he's in the last, 3 months, he's really kind of spread.
Yeah, I saw you guys at the golf tournament at Colin, and I was like, good night.
Yeah.
Which one's the college football player here?
He's filling out. And look, anybody who knows you knows the MVP of the Loy house is your wife, Sarah. Just one of the sweetest, kindest, big-hearted, just love her like she's family and have since the time I met her. She's a great coach's wife, right? Because it's not for everybody, Coach. But it feels like Sarah takes that role very seriously.
She has moved all over the state of Mississippi, had babies in 3 towns, and endured a lot. And done it with grace. Yeah, it has been. She's impressive.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
She is. She's a good friend of mine. And look, when we're talking about this upcoming 2026 Wesson football team, there's a lot of excitement. You guys had a great season last year. You wanted the playoff run to be deeper, but I feel like with so much coming back, lessons learned. Look, there are people that are talking like, hey, look out for Wesson in 2A. Yeah. What's the work been like during the offseason?
Man, these guys, I don't have to worry about them coming to work. They show up, they put out. I mean, like I said, they have the attitude that I have about this season. We lost by 2 points, only game we lost all year. We had a shot to win. we didn't. It's ball, that's sports. But we do have a team that has a mission right now. And it's been exciting to watch them since that day with that mission on their mind because it's been that way all year.
Let the fire you feel like.
So I do feel excited about this team just because I know they're going to throw down on Friday night. They're fixing to prepare well every day. And they want to be there. They want to be there in the end as one of the teams that we got the shot. So hopefully everything will work out with injuries and all that. There's so many things go into it. You got to get the breaks and things got to happen. But we do have a very good football team.
Tell everybody chill out with the high school rodeo this year. Yeah. We need everybody 100% healthy. Well, look,
let me piggyback that.
Go ahead.
So, Coach has got one of those teams that I always like to say that words are just extra. All right, words are extra right now because you don't have to say a thing.
No, yeah.
They are pissed off from last year. They know they left some things out there on the field. They know where mistakes were made. You hadn't had to say much leading up to this point. Now, we did speak about how eloquently you give pregame speeches, right? And how well those – and we're not going to ask you to give us a pregame speech. I did tell Cliff I was going to give you $50 to fire us up in here.
I told him, I said, don't do that. I'll run through this window and hurt myself.
But no, man, words are just extra with a team like yours right now. Yeah. We're just super excited about – yeah, man, you just go out there and you call the plays, and they're going to do what it takes to be successful. I'm excited about Wesson Cobras this year. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I appreciate it.
Well, you guys, one reason I love watching so much, talked about the excitement of the ball. You sling the ball around the yard. You have fun. You're a former quarterback. Your son played quarterback. You've developed quarterbacks. Now, even after Will graduated, Cole Gibson comes in. You develop into a heck of a quarterback. And then you've got BP Robbins, who came out of nowhere last year to score a ton of touchdowns. And one thing that, when I'm talking ball with folks all around the place and they're saying like, well, oh, my school runs the wing T and it makes me mad. And I say, well, listen, man, you don't understand how difficult it is to find and develop that passing game. If it was easy, then the NFL wouldn't have guys that look like corpses playing quarterback.
Yeah.
For you, what's the key to finding a guy and making him into a quarterback, Coach?
Well, you gotta take the strengths of the player and you got to develop what his strengths are at that position. BP, I call him a fullback, at playing
He's a fullback who plays quarterback.
He's a bull. He knows it. He can throw it too, but he's got different strengths than say Cole did or Will did. Will was a gunslinger. Will was looking to throw it to the last second. He wanted to throw the ball down the field and score touchdowns fast. So they all have different strengths, but the biggest thing we do is we build it around a system and then tweak the system to what they can do. And they come up with that same terminology and that same and it just like everything else, everything kind of carries over to the next thing, and the quarterbacks have carried over. I think it started really with Will having such a great career. That made Cole want to do it. We had, Wyatt Garrett was in there some too.
Great snaps.
He could have been, honestly, if we had two, but he was so good on defense, he could have been a great quarterback himself.
Absolutely.
And then into BP. And, Wesley could play quarterback if we had to. That's great having a backup, because there was years we didn't have a backup. You're just hoping nobody gets hurt. But, BP's got those intangibles that you want to lead your team as far as that toughness and that, that stuff to him.
People will follow him. And you had told me that he was coming ahead of last season when I was asking you how you're going to replace Cole. And you said, well, our JV quarterback is a guy that people will follow. And it's important, right, to have those guys in junior high and JV. And I want to give you a shout out. Your junior high plays Alexander every year.
Yeah.
And I work at Alexander. I know there's some full-grown men over there. Well, hey, look, the toughest football player I've ever seen is Wesley Lloyd, because when he was in the 8th grade, the ball would be snapped, and Philip Tobias Jr. would be there before the ball would be there. But I tell you what, you guys, you love competing with Brookhaven. You play 7-on-7 against them all summer. You stayed close with those guys at Brookhaven, you and Coach Dorsey and Coach McLaurin, and it's like, hey, iron sharpens iron, right?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And one thing I wanted to get us to, and the point of our program, is to not be scared of anybody. And to do it, you got to step them out there. You got to get them used to it. And now I mean, when I would have got here, if we'd have tried to do something against Brookhaven, it would have been a big deal. Now our guys are like, yeah, let's go 7-on-7 with Brookhaven. We need to work. So it's all about that. And that junior high league's rough on us. I mean, we're the little school. We're in there with them and the 5As and the 4As, and we do take some beatings in some of that stuff sometimes, but I do think that's important too.
I do. I really do. I believe that your junior high can grow out. I'm back coaching junior high basketball this year at Brookhaven, and beginning of the summer, my 7th graders couldn't get the ball down the court against my 8th graders. I got a really good group of 8th graders. Chris Dickey, Amarion Smith's little brother, is a full-grown man, and we couldn't get the ball down. But by the end of the summer, I saw the growth from my little guys. They're like, hey, going against it every day in competition only makes you better, and that's what you guys do all summer. I see every time I'm in your field house watching you guys lift, I'm seeing competition, and that's what it takes, right?
It does, when you're at a small school and your numbers aren't great, as far as when you line up at practice, you may have 40-something guys, but some of those guys are 9th graders. Some of those guys are too young to really put in there and give you guys some good looks, some good reps. So that's one reason that we step out there with a Brookhaven, with Terry or whoever else we invite down and do some 7-on-7 with, because we need the work.
That's right.
That gives us good work going in. I mean, we know Heidelberg's fixing to be loaded. They're going to be good. I mean, we got to be used to playing those type people.
That's the ultimate goal. That's right.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things to see is like a smaller school competing like a Brookhaven High, and you watch your players and you go back and watch the tape and you see how your guys respond, and it's like, you got one or two options. You can kind of lay down and go through the motions, or you can dig deep and really get out there and compete. And one of my favorite things to watch is, the smaller school rising up and facing on the bigger challenge.
So there's a lot of, I'm telling you this, there's a lot of folks in Mississippi, they do not want the 2A Wesson Cobras in their schedule. I know Coach Lloyd, I went down and watched you guys play North Pike last year and beat 5A North Pike in a really entertaining game. And your kids, that's the game that you allowed me into the locker room. Your kids live for those experiences because they want to show people, hey, I might be from Wesson, but I can bang heads with anybody.
Yeah. And I think that the Cobras have kind of set the standard. It's not upset whenever they beat someone, a bigger school than them.
No.
It's kind of like, it's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. I think our guys take it that way. I always tell them, I said, look, our goal needs to be on Friday night to make everybody we play say, I hate playing those guys. And if we can get to that point, then we've done a good job.
The bigger school schedules the little guy Wesson, and then the players are like, oh, what the – no, we're supposed to play a pushover here.
Yeah,
that's right.
Hey, real quick, Coach, you're a fast-paced guy. You throw it around. You like to do things full speed. Got some rapid-fire questions for you here. You ready?
Yep.
I guess. Yeah, I guess I'm ready. Hey, tell me this. Biggest hole that needs to be filled this season, going into your season. Yeah.
Puzzle piece on the offensive line. Mm-hmm. We got to figure the puzzle out there. That's one of the things.
How many total offensive linemen do you have?
Like total that can
players.
play varsity?
Yeah. Mm.
We have about eight guys that we got to figure out who's the best 5.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. The center, who's your center?
Tyler Birch.
Yeah, he's a returning starter.
Yeah,
that's big.
Yep.
All right, here we go. All right, one thing that Wesson fans will notice different about this year's team than last year's.
I think size. Mm-hmm. Size. We're going to be bigger this year.
A little bigger, a little stronger.
Yeah, I think we're going to be bigger.
Hey, one drill, this is for the players out there, got to give them some love. One drill that your players wish that you would do away with.
They just ran 31 hills today, so yes. I know they would love to do
hill,
it.
We talked about the hill earlier. Yes, the hill is where the boys become men.
We do a drill called the trash can drill, and that makes you either find out who the man is and who isn't. So,
well, I don't want to put all your secrets out there. But I think the fans would like to know one thing that sets you guys apart from other schools your size and even bigger.
Sets us apart.
We can answer it for you. Cliff and I can answer it for
you.
It's just the overall toughness. I mean, it's just there's just tough kids. I mean, look, I can say this because I'm not you. I've seen your guys in a street fight before.
Yeah.
They don't back down in a literal street fight. They don't go out looking to start a fight, but if you want to fight, they're ready to roll.
Yeah, I don't think they'd back down.
And I would say leadership. That comes from you. So keep up the good work there. Last one. Finish this sentence. If Wesson football is successful this season, it'll be because blank.
We persevered all the way to the end. We made it through the gauntlet, I like to call it, because here's what I'm going to tell you. I always say this. We were talking about this yesterday with somebody. From 4A down, you have to play 5 weeks to win a state championship.
Right.
That's
right.
a half a season.
That's right.
I mean,
that's right.
It is a test of endurance and perseverance.
You're a true champion when you push that trophy, for sure.
You've been on both sides of it. That Bay Springs game, you were the higher seed. You were an absolute dogfight to win that.
Yeah.
Then when you went on the road and beat Union that time, and you were a 4 seed and they were a 1 seed, it's you never know, because there's so, like you said, there are 5 games, and if you're lucky, maybe you get a cupcake in the first round, but you might not. No. You might get a Bay Springs that's only won a couple games, but still got a bunch of dogs out there.
The thing is, you can't have a bad night.
Yep.
And if you do have a bad night, you better figure out how to win on a bad night.
Yeah. Oh,
Which I do think that is something that I've seen us do.
Yeah.
On nights when we weren't our best or we were kind of middle of the road, we figured out a way.
Figured it out.
Well, like that North Pike game that I talked about earlier last year, kind of kicking it around, kind of muddle around the first half. The second half, Kamari Brown picks up a fumble, runs it back, and then one guy, I've got to talk about him real quick. Only got about 90 seconds left. Demarion Smith is an absolute big play waiting to happen. And
athlete.
His junior college recruitment has picked up, and it needs to, right? Because there are not many guys in Southwest Mississippi that can do more with the ball in their hands.
He can score, flat out score.
Yeah,
he can go.
Yeah, I love BP Robin, but I swear I think I could run a go route to that guy. We can
just put it out there.
Yeah, just put it out there, and
can we make this show 2 hours? I mean, we're such on a time constraint.
I know, man.
SuperTalk, get it together.
I know, and look. And part of the reason is it's easy to talk to your friends. And Jeremy Loy is a friend of mine. We go way back, man. We went to Guatemala and talked about Jesus down there one time, and it was a time I'll never forget. And some of my favorite Friday nights have been spent on the Wesson sideline. Can't wait. Who do you kick it off with, Coach?
We got at Bogachita.
At Bogachita, and then what's your first home game?
We're going to play North Pike at home.
Play North Pike at home.
Snakes on a plane, baby. Let's go.
Snakes on a plane. That's Coach Jeremy Loy with Wesson Football. I'm Cliff Furr, the Y'all and Y'all Sports. Joined as always by my friend Brendan Shamatara. Find us on Facebook. Find us wherever you're looking for sports in Southwest Mississippi. That's where Y'all Sports will be. Until next time, I'll see you on the sidelines of Southwest Mississippi.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.